Minimalism is a trick from the NPCs. You know, there's that good type of minimalism where you live minimalistically with minimal things made out of stuff, which is a spiritual notion, sure. But when the idea of minimalism is disconnected completely from any spiritual, undertaking in one's life, when it's just to be minimalistic without that the spiritual ascending nature to it. So, you might do it for 6 months and meditate. You might even go into the forest like I have and sit there and meditate and do the whole, Buddha sort of thing. But when minimalism is completely for the rest of your life, that's an NPC trend. I just realized, that has to be said, because when it's disconnected from the spirited nature, that's how organic portals ruin spirited movements. Now, minimalism or going minimalistic in your life, like you might say, I am here camping. I've had lots of little deaths here. I've died many times. Do you understand? But this is a surface, like ego death stuff, past, the past of your life, and also past lives. Multidimensional healing here at the end, into Universe 2, post-2012. Into Universe of Creation, so we're letting go of all the karmic ties, trying to appease our karmic debts and all this. So what's interesting is, that's fine to do a minimalistic approach to life, like I kind of am here camping for, I'm even here for a year. I may even go 1 more year, but the thing is, it's not going to be for the rest of my life that I'm only like that. And the reason is because that's not the concrescent state. It's not the best. Why not go for optimum? Why not go for the best? Why not go for extra? That led me into this video. I went, oh yeah, why go minimalistic? The only reason to go minimalistic is if you're on like a little spiritual epoch in your life or something. Like we all have just gotten a whole lot more spiritual during 2012, the eschaton at the end of human history into now the apocalypse, right? Many of us has picked up our spiritual aspects of life and increased and put energy into those. So that's my point, that's if you include minimalism there, that's alright. You can go live in a tiny house. But if that's your life view, and I'm just using that tiny house theme, you've seen that trend as well, that's fine again. I was also traveling in my car for years, doing the same sort of thing. It's a minimalistic lifestyle, but the thing is, in the end, this is meant to be just like an epoch, because enlightenment without abundance is just more inert. If you have abundance behind enlightenment, it gives it inertia. A simple example is, if more of you donate, I can create better videos with better video software. Simple example. But just in general, in life, in your whole life, not just a 5-year period or a 10-year period. This idea I was associating was the tiny house movement, because it's the same thing, and it's along the lines of that Agenda 21 elite enslavement of the populace. Like, get them into smaller and smaller apartments, that's more profitable. You see at the exact same time the capsule hotels, where it's like $17 for a night in some Japanese capsule that you just lay down in a capsule. Capsule hotel. So all these, you see all these joined together, all those 4 things, the minimalism as well, and those things joined together, the tiny house movement and everything. And that's that, the hive mind, it seems to, because it's connected to these high dimensional entities which have, an energy extraction matrix set up, it works for their favor to become more profitable. You have a certain building, instead of 2 floors with 2 people, why not have 10 people in there? I get even more rent, you know what I mean? And it all sucks up the chain, obviously. But look out here, I'm out here by myself, so in a way it's not minimalistic, in another way it is. And so you're obviously going to progress through different minimalistic lifestyles if you're on a spiritual path, and that's all okay. But if it's just minimalism just for, you know, trying to get that as a trend, it's incorrect. Why? Because it's not the best and it's not forward motion. To add in, to have more, to extra in an abundant universe is okay. You've been brainwashed to think that we have to go scarcity based. We are in an abundant universe. There's a whole planet made of diamond. There's 6 times more iron ore on Mars, the planet next to us, than on Earth. We can harvest water from asteroids and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's a massive universe. I think you'll agree. And we've been based in a scarcity-based system, in like an energy extraction matrix system. But I don't think it has to be that way. You see, we can see the larger view that if we, you know, work together and stop fighting over what we have here on the planet, and we all work together to get everything in the universe, then that's abundance. That's the best case scenario. You see, the best case scenario is not capsule hotels. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you, the best case scenario is not capsule hotels or, you know, more minimalistic lifestyle, because it can create stasis. It's like when you look at other cultures, like fifth world cultures, where they're, I don't know, like the San Bushmen of Africa. They have to hunt every day, all day, for just a little bit of food, a little bit of water, you know. So they're locked into a cycle. There's no room for ascension. Technology, for instance, gives you the ability to, I don't know, have, you know, the old dream when it came about in the 50s of having the toaster. You wake up in the morning, the toaster flicks up your toast, the pan, the robot pan is frying your egg, and so on, you know, that it can take things that you would otherwise have to do, and then that gives you time to do something more. And this allows for a building of quality of life, as well as, you know, complexity. But, you know, it's the quality of life part that I'm trying to talk about, because everybody is whinging, you know, how bad the situation is. And yeah, it's bad. Billions of people are not being used because we have stuck energy in people like the Rothschilds family. You see all these elite families, that's like stuck energy. Money is just the energy currency, you know. And really then we have 4 billion, 5 billion people not being used appropriately. For instance, if I had more abundance, I could be creating better stuff. Maybe I could look at Victor Schauberger's implosion and tell you how it works or something. Maybe then I would be able to, but now I have to do a lot of foraging for my food, takes a few hours. You know, the more you donate, for instance, to my channel, as another example, the more I can just be pumping out videos, bang, bang, bang. Because I don't have to forage everything. I'm still going to forage because I love wild foods. They're stronger. And you see, that's an adding it in. That's when the minimalism sort of thing is okay. You know, but not when you're just like, well, I'm just, you know, the whole thing of going off grid is also the same. That's a fifth point, we can say, to tie it into minimalism, Agenda 21, capsule hotels, tiny house movement. It's the same thing. So if it's not for, you know, like the most propulsion and stuff and forward motion, what's the point? It's just another, you know, grid of experience. And if you stay in a grid, you know, the whole point of coming to the end of human history is we can shift the energy out of all grid types and all experiential grids. So this whole minimalism trend is just what I'm trying to poke at today. And just show you how it's connected to NPC appeal, non-player character appeal, which is a stasis of the human species appeal. When you appeal to NPC people, I'm not saying, you know, cut the gross waste and cull them all, even though it seems the planet is doing something similar, right? Half of the world's population is walking themselves into self-destruction. And a lot to do with the old ego self. Like if you're in Venezuela right now and you're too proud to leave, you know, I'm in Uruguay here, I'm from Australia, I'm alright. But these people from Venezuela, their country has just gone to crap, right? The currency's just gone. And they're all walking around South America now. And that's wasted energy because they could be creating something. You see what I mean? And also back to what I was saying was, not only does that increase the novelty, and that's part of border dissolution worldwide, but you know, all the wasted energy of all these people. But if they're walking themselves into self-destruction, part of that old ego self, it's being nationalistic. You know, if you're a Venezuelan right now and you're too proud to leave Venezuela because you're Venezuelan, you know, it'd be the same thing if I was in Australia, if I was too proud to leave Australia. It would just be nationalism. And I've said before, that's like organic portal style, because we're humans, we're not from a certain nation. That's just a little bit of a wash, you know. But so all these things tie together as an NPC appeal, this minimalistic, off-grid, you know. Because if you go off-grid, okay, sure, it's a good way for humans to live, because we want to essentially be, because you're a concrescence, a human, you're able to take care of all this environment. I can take care of all of these trees better than the birds and everything. You know, I can put rock dust there, I can do everything. I can trim it, blah, blah, blah. So I'm a concrescence here, and I can have a zone of taking care of that part of Earth, and then I get to eat from it and everything. A food forest, a polypermaculture food forest, for instance. That's the better state, isn't it, than going to buy GMOs at the shop. You know, they always come out with stasis solutions to problems they've usually created themselves already. And look, the whole thing of today's video was that whole minimalistic lifestyle, even off-grid, is, there's a point to off-grid, you know, but my point is that without the spiritual thrust in there, it can be used as a NPC appeal and create stasis for humanity. And for instance, in the off-grid thing, that's fine to be a concrescence out in nature. High-speed broadband connection can still do your great work. Upload it to the species neuronet over mind internet, and that's all well and good. You've done your great work and everything. Focus pocus magnus opus, and you've got, you know, your food in your local area to eat around here. This could all be food. That's all well and good, and then you're using it to do the great work, you see. But just as a trend, a spiritless trend by itself is what I'm saying to watch out for. That's how they use these things as NPC appeals to create stasis, which keeps their control. It's just another control struct, coding of how the matrix works.